I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. The wine we're tasting now is Colmar Estate, Block 3 Pinot Noir from the Orange region, 2018 vintage. So the story of Colmar Estate is a relatively short one. The vineyard itself is on Pinnacle Road, Orange, which is on the lower slopes of Mount Canobolas, which is the extinct volcano which dominates the Orange region just outside of the city of Orange. But it provides these high altitudes where people can grow the cool climate grape varieties such as Pinot Noir and produce outstanding wines. Bill Shrapnel and his wife Jane bought this as an established vineyard. And they bought it, I think it was first planted in 1991, and they bought it in 2013. It had some varieties in the vineyard which were not really suited to the climate, such as Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. So they grafted those over to more white varieties. And the white varieties really are suited to this site very well. Riesling, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, etc. are outstanding in that location. It's a 980 metre altitude vineyard, which is pretty close to as high as they get in the Orange region. There are a couple of vineyards that are just over 1,000 metres, so very high indeed. It's about a 6-hectare vineyard, and they produce that range of whites that I just mentioned, plus also Pinot Noir, which is outstanding. And I know wine shows are not the be-all and end-all of judging quality. They're useful, but they're not the be-all and end-all. But in the first 5 years of the Shrapnel family ownership, Colmar Estate wines have won 27 trophies and still counting. So it's a pretty good indication that they've found themselves a great piece of terroir. So how does this wine taste? Let's have a taste of it. Firstly, when you pick it up, you notice the colour. It's not a dark colour like a Shiraz or a Cabernet might be, because Pinot Noir is not usually as dark as that, and it doesn't keep its purples for quite as long. That said, this is nearly 3 years old, and it's still got a lovely purple tint, and the colour is certainly not pale. It's got good depth of colour. And wow, that bouquet is fantastic. It is, at this age, it's really hitting its straps. At 3 years of old, that's had enough time in the bottle to evolve the bouquet into something really special, really complex, very, very fragrant, very charming. It's certainly got the cherry characters that you expected of Pinot Noir, but it's got a patina of dried herbs and earthy characters, complexities that possibly come partly from some whole bunch fermentation in the mix there. But it's just so complex that it's hard to say what is happening where, but I can say that it's not oaky. This is a really important thing with Pinot for me. It shouldn't be oaky. That wine is just so delicious. I could sit down and demolish a few glasses of that straight away. It's got lovely intensity of flavour, but not bigness. It's not a heavy wine. It's got aerial lightness to it. It's just delicious. It floats across the palate. The balance is beautiful. The tannins, there are tannins there, but very light, fine tannins that just give you a nice cleansing effect on the aftertaste and leave you wanting more, frankly, which is what all good wines should do. Lots of vitality, and I think it's drinking at its best now, and it will continue to for at least 2 or 3 more years. How do we rate this wine? Well, we scored it a gold ribbon score, which is 95 points out of 100. And for the Orange region, there are not too many Pinots that are hitting that sort of height these days. There are more and more these days, but it's taken Orange a while to get to produce Pinot of this quality, in my view. So that wine was a top rank wine because it got number 3 out of 29 vintage 2018 Pinot Noirs from the Orange region. Number 3 out of 29, that's a pretty high recommendation. I think this wine, as I said, it's drinking beautifully now, and it will go for another 7 or 8 years without any trouble, but the best drinking, I think, will be from now until the next 3 or 4 years. So we asked the owners, Bill and Jane Shrapnel, what they would like to serve with this wine, and they said duck, which is a very good solution most of the time for Pinot in my experience. But they've said duck braised in stock with olives and capers. And they specify that it shouldn't be a sweet sauce, it should be a savoury sauce. And I totally agree with that. I think that would be an excellent combination. Good health. Cheers.